Here's the deal. Here's what's really going down. Chip Kelly, okay, the Raiders paid handsomely, right? Because when you are looking for a future coach, and, Chip could be the future coach. Chip Kelly came into the 49ers, got hit by a whirlwind, right? It overwhelmed him a little bit. And I think Chip wants another bite at the apple. And here's the deal. I'll tell you guys flat out, and I don't have any other way I can put it. Chip Kelly needs Aaron Rodgers, right? There's no doubt about it. Now, whether it comes together or doesn't come together, that's to be determined. You got Tom Brady, right? You got Mark Davis. But all of the people who are involved in this situation are somehow either connected or have a relationship with Aaron Rodgers, right? And you get to Pete Carroll. Now, here's the thing with Pete Carroll. I always tell you with Pete, you got a right to compete, right? I mean, one thing Pete ain't going to never stop anybody from doing is competing and coming on in there. And you guys can say, well, Marshawn Lynch, who do you want? Do you want Aaron? Do you want Russell? You know them both. Hell, but come on in and compete, because at the end of the day, I'll tell you what, Aaron's not playing for money. Let's just clear the air on that. He's not playing for money. But let me see if I can tie this story back together, because you got Chip Kelly. Now, you got to understand the Chip Kelly relationship is a little bit different, right, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. And why is that? And I'll tell you why. Because Chip's coming out of Oregon, right? And so when you look at Chip Kelly coming out of Oregon, and you want to look at all of this as I tie these dots together, and why does Chip Kelly need Aaron Rodgers? One, he's going to need an exotic quarterback that can understand the offense he wants to run, because it's extremely difficult to pick up the reads, right? But where did Chip come from? And you got Mike Bellotti. And who did I play for? I played for Mike Bellotti, right? And Mike Bellotti is a mastermind of offense, right? And I was a DB. I used to get 4 picks of practice. Mike comes in and teaches quarterbacks where to put the ball, how to throw the ball, and him and Nick Aliotti. And I'm telling you, Nick Aliotti was a defensive wizard. So Mike went on and took over for Rich Brooks. They were a year there. And then Nick Aliotti, the other coach, went up and went to Brooks over there to the LA Rams to coach the LA Rams. But if you look at the exoticness, okay, of Mike Bellotti, and then you're going to go a step further. Who was he coached after that? Was an Oregon assistant, Jeff Tedford, right? Now, Chip Kelly knows all these guys. Chip Kelly came after Mike Bellotti to coach the Oregon Ducks, right? So Mike had already built a tremendous foundation starting in 1995 with the Oregon Ducks. Chip Kelly came behind, and Chip's been going on and on. Mike's went into the Hall of Fame and moved forward, right? But that's the legacy of where did Oregon football come from. Now, if you go a step further, as I said, Jeff Tevert, but here's where it gets really interesting. You look at the Rodgers family, right? And you got Ed Rodgers sitting there, and there's Jordan, there's Darla. Boy, I tell you, Darla's the straightest arrow in the books, man. I mean, if there's anyone Aaron's got to meet expectations, it's Darla. And that's his mom, and she is not one to be played with, I'll tell you. Beautiful lady. Ed is a sweet person, quiet chiropractor. And with the Rogers family, we know him well. Coach my son in basketball. But here's the deal. I mean, I've seen him come down in Oakland. I've seen him down in Oakland. Boy, I covered him on the Raider game. It was pouring, raining. Came back, won that ball game. He's been trying to get home for a long time, right? The family's from Oregon. And here's where I'm going from this, right? And then you got, he's lived in Chico, came down from Oregon. He's been in Chico for a long time, went to Butte College, right? And then he goes over to Cal, and then he goes over there to Green Bay Packers. Now, here's the other flip side. When you get to the Raiders, this thing gets even more bizarre, right? He's got Mark Davis. Now, Mark Davis, I'm not talking about deja vu, but where did Mark Davis go to school? Mark Davis went to school, graduated from California State University, Chico. So, folks, I'm telling you in a very short way, if the deja vu, if the Raiders connect the dots, right? And you can bring them both in, because you got one or two you can go on this. Mark's smart, and Mark loves Chico, California, no doubt about it, right? And where's Aaron from? Chico, California. We're the Rodgers family, Chico, California. And I'm walking you down this because this one here is very, very interesting when you look at it, right? Because you got the family, you're going to walk it on down the line. Ain't no doubt about it. But then you got Jeff Tedford, came out of Oregon. Where'd he go? He coached over at Cal, right? I'm walking this down. Mike Bellotti set the record, set the pace up there at Oregon, put it on the program. Who came right after Mike Bellotti? Guess what? Chip Kelly, right? And where's the Rodgers family from? As I told you earlier, they're from Oregon, folks. This Oregon connection is something I wouldn't let slip on by. I'm trying to put the dots together. And you got Chip. Chip is exotic, right? Chip is super exotic. I mean, he's got to have in the NFL. Don't get me wrong now, he's coming out of Ohio State, but in the NFL, Chip Kelly's tasted the wine before. He knows the NFL players are faster. The reads have got to be quicker. There's a lot of short throws. There's a lot of quick speed. Everything fits, and man, it all aligns with what Tom Brady and the exotic offense. And when you get somebody to run that, yep, he was injured, but I'm going to tell you this: the man that can run that plan, I'm going to tell you, is Aaron Rodgers. There ain't no doubt about it, right? Because the Jets, he's been down there, Green Bay. Green Bay's changed a lot. I'll tell you before he left, when I had opportunity, came down, was the last time I think I'd seen Ted Thompson, right? Ted Thompson was a man's man, ran that ship tight. After Ted Thompson retired, a lot of things went differently down there in Green Bay. Things got a little bit off the tracks, right? But Aaron's time to come from the warm weather. Las Vegas would do him very well. He loves San Diego, okay? And being closer to family, friends, and being at home is going to make a difference. Now, you got him and Brady. They're a couple road dogs. They've closed down a couple shows. Him and Edelman, boy, those guys had a lot of fun, right? But now they're all buddy up. And if you tell me that Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, right? I ain't even got to Tom Brady. You telling Aaron Rodgers cannot get in there and make this thing come together with Chip Kelly? I don't believe it, folks. I don't believe it. Tom Brady, between the three of them, they'll have that thing humming. And let me tell you, old Pete knows about it too, because when Pete had to play against Aaron, it was very, very interesting. Pete had the best defense he ever had against Aaron Rodgers. You know what? I'm talking McGinnis, Palomalo. They were loaded. Boy, he lit them up for almost 23 straight passes, and the last three went right through the guy's hands. Chip Kelly's exotic, folks. He's got to have an exotic quarterback, and there's only one man that can make those reads. Mark Davis, do what you got to do. The writing's on it. Everybody's from Oregon or Chico. You got something special here, Mark. And you got all of the North State coming down, especially Oregon, Chico, Redding, all the way down Vallejo. We're all coming to Las Vegas to see Aaron Rodgers. So it is what it is. But keep this in mind, folks. The Raiders are the Raiders, and you are who you are, and you do what you do. And that's what Mark Davis is going to do. The decision will get made. I think Aaron belongs with the Raiders. But at the end of the day, the Raiders are the Raiders, and the Raiders are going to have to draft a quarterback. There's no doubt about it. So it gives Chip Kelly an extra little push, right? Because when you get to Chip can draft the quarterback and get the one he wants. The quarterback's going to have to sit for a minute and understand, because it's complicated, and Chip Kelly's offense is extremely complicated. He needs somebody that can really read defense and read it fast, right? And if you got to check out the play, you can check out the play. That's a match made in heaven, him and Aaron Rodgers. I don't even think Aaron thought about ever playing for Chip Kelly. But you know what? It's all the same, because Chip Kelly is a branch of Jeff Tedford. Jeff Tedford's a branch of Mike Bellotti, so they're all coming out of the Oregon connection. And there ain't no doubt about it. Chico, California, well, that's Mark Davis. So it's all going to come together. But what I'll tell you, one time and one time only, Jets said no more Pat McAfee. Now, Bill Belichick's on the Pat McAfee show. Every NFL coach stopped by the Pat McAfee show. But guess what? Pat McAfee, the kicker, well, you ran everybody off, and they're all afraid. What kind of questions you asking down there, Pat? Nevertheless, I put it to you just the way it is. Aaron Rodgers belongs with the Raiders. Ain't no doubt about it. And until it happens, we'll keep pushing the needle. But eventually, as he did on the golf course, he just smiled. Raiders, Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders. No doubt about it.